All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Christopher Locke. I'm the IBPA member, Director of Membership and Member Services. And we are doing this series called Get to Know Your IBPA Member Benefits. We want to give everyone an opportunity to see a more in-depth look at all the amazing IBPA member benefits. We are grateful today that we're doing BookBaby, and we're going to be talking about self-publishing best practices. And one of the great things is we have about a third of IBPA's membership are author publishers. And let me tell you, BookBaby is like the ultimate organization that allows people to go from being a writer to becoming an actual publisher. And you are the publisher when you go through BookBaby. And that's what IBPA is all about, teaching you about publishing, and BookBaby helps you do that. So hello, BookBaby President Steven Spatz, and take it away. Thank you.
Christopher, thank you very much. Very pleased to be here. And yes, that sign over above my shoulder, that used to, when we worked from an office, that actually used to be emblazoned on our walls. Of course, now we're all working from home per the new normal, as it were. So anyway, I'm thrilled to be here. I've got a presentation. I'm going to share my screen, and away we go. So, I'm going to back up a little bit here because actually, I'll just start here. So, I was thinking about this title of this presentation and self-publishing best practices. I thought, God, it sounds almost like a safety video that you'd see on an airline or for something. I thought, let me spice this up a little bit. So decided to go a little off script. I'm sure my marketing people are going, what are you doing? So I'm going to say, if I could do sound effects on Zoom, I would right now and have some kind of lurid music and say, revealed from the BookBaby files, the top 10 ways to ruin or murder or crush an indie book published. So I hope that's sort of my theme here, saying that, there's, and I'm trying to spin it to the positive, of course, but I'm going to show you some things that we have seen and some fun things, but really the lesson here is there's great ways to get a great book published, but we're going to look at all sides of this. So here we go. If I can get the technology to work, come on, there we go. All right. So my name is Steven Spatz. I have been president of BookBaby, as Christopher and I were just talking about. I'm now the president emeritus. I've stepped aside for a little bit and allowing some of our younger leadership to take over this incredibly fast-growing business. I'll still be involved for a good long time, but it's good for me to be working on some other projects. I've been involved with the BookBaby brand since 2015. But I've been with our parent company that you'll learn about here in a little bit for much longer than that. I started out my life as a journalist. In fact, in my bio, I talk about how I was first paid professionally as a 14-year-old enterprising sports writer, being paid for the word for my local weekly newspaper. And I was able to stretch out paragraphs and earn a lot of money in making these Little League games sound like it was Game 7 of the World Series. So that was my start into writing. In between there, I've worked for people like Mattel, Hasbro, now DIY Media Group, and now the full circle, I'm back into publishing, and I'm helping folks, thousands of authors, every single month become, do what is up there on that board, where writers become authors. That's really is our motto. But what I think most distinguishes or most qualifies me for this position of where I am, I'm also a self-published author. So I felt the pain, I felt the joy, I felt the agony, I felt the frustration, because it happens, and we understand it, and our building or now our scattered staff, they understand it too, and I think that's what distinguishes BookBaby, I think, from a lot of other companies, is we have people who really understand the journey. But let's talk a little bit about our company, if I could introduce you, because we got into publishing in a very interesting way. So we're actually a 75-year-old music company. Back in the days when they were making little 78 vinyls and big 33 RPM vinyls, our parent company was born, Disc Makers, and they were around. They were born to really help independent artists at that time to get their music out in the marketplace. So we started producing our own products for musicians. We got CD press, we got record presses in and printers in, and we thought this is the way for us to really help, independent content creators to go out there into the world. And now, of course, we're doing this for authors. We were never a broker, though. We feel like we like to do things ourselves. So we manufactured everything from vinyl to CDs and printing. And that's printing bug in our bloodstream, of course, has helped now as we've moved into our next iteration. But, about 15 years ago, we realized, the physical music business, it's going in a different place. People are streaming now. Obviously, back then it was MP3s. And so we purchased a little company in Portland, Oregon called CD Baby. And I'm from Oregon and very familiar with the brand. What they were doing back then is they were selling CDs direct. They would have artists send them their CDs, and then they would ship out CDs direct to fans. But they also had their first foray into the digital music world. So they became best friends with Amazon and Apple. And at some point, at about, this is now going back 10, 12 years, about 25% of all the music on Apple actually came through CD Baby. And these were independent artists who were appearing at the tavern down the street, but had CDs and had a digital relationship with CD Baby so that, they could go out to the world and be, every bit as important as, your local musician in the music shop. Remember the old record shops? Well, so that's what they were doing. But that gave us this key relationship now with Amazon and Apple, and kind of gave us a step towards kind of a new beginning for our company, because we knew that CDs and DVDs and things like that were going away. We were looking for something new. So a little over 10 years ago, about 11 years ago, here comes the iPad. Now, our friends at Apple, probably not as well staffed as they are now, because about 6 weeks before the launch of this amazing device, they called us up, and we were best friends with them on the music side. They said, "Hey, you guys ever heard of an ebook?" I said, "Oh yeah, Kindle." I said, No, these are ebooks. These are different technology. Can you guys make those files? We said, sure we can. We can do this, Apple. We had no idea. And I have a standing offer out to our first 500 customers for Apple ebooks that you can send them back to us, and we will redo them properly, because we learned on the fly, and I can freely admit that now. And we got really good at it, but it took a while for us to understand that. So that was our launch into the book world. And hence, from CD Baby, we welcomed this new baby into the world, and we called it BookBaby. Now, not a day goes by that I somewhat regret that choice of title, because we get so many phone calls. "Hey, can I buy some baby books from you?" Okay, just to set the record straight, yes, we do baby books. We print them. We have a lot of children's authors. We don't have a big giant stack of baby books sitting in our warehouse, but hence the name. And we thought, well, let's go with it. At times we've had some corporate meetings thinking, maybe we should change to some other booksy, wooksy. Anyway, we're stuck with the name now. And we're happy we did, because it has become, after 10 years, as I was telling Christopher, after 10 years, we're finally an overnight sensation, and we have a lot of name recognition now about our company. And that was how we got into this crazy business. We launched only with ebooks through Apple. Excuse me. Now that we're back into the working from home, I'm not used to talking to myself for an hour, so you have to bear with me a little bit. So we started with Apple only and did the EPUB format. And then we partnered with Amazon with their own Kindle formats and things like that. And so we added dozens of other distribution partners. That's the time when the ebook, people thought, oh, in 10 years, we'll have no such thing as print books. It's all going to be electronic books. So we wanted to jump in on that, and we partnered with a lot of other, ebook folks around the world, Barnes & Noble, Gardner's from the UK, and all kinds of European companies. So distribution was our big deal. However, after really understanding, and really learning, quite frankly, about the author community, we knew artists, we knew musicians, we didn't know authors at all. So we really thought we need to talk to them. We talked to them relentlessly. We went to conferences. We joined groups like the IBPA. And we realized, wait a minute, you know what? We need to be more than just ebooks. We need to, look to what everything that a self-published author needs. So that's what we've done. And we're doing it all in-house, which makes us very unique in this space. So we added printed books to our inventory. We had contracts with printers around the US. As part of the deal, we were able to kind of look over the shoulders and really learn the business. And they knew that was going to happen. And so in 2016, we invested in our own print shop, and we've kept investing and we've kept investing. As a matter of fact, now, as I sit in my home in Pennsylvania, I don't have an office anymore in New Jersey because we bulldozed all the executive offices because we need more room for printing presses and other equipment that I'll show you. Adding print-on-demand distribution was a real game changer for us. So not only could our self-published authors distribute their ebooks everywhere, they could go also have their printed books available. And we so advocate getting things out in as many mediums and formats and locations as you can. So that was very, true to our core nature. So for the equipment nerds who might be here, who are part of the IBPA, I've met some of you and you're nice people. So I do want to satisfy your hungering for knowing some of the stuff we have. And frankly, we are a highly professional shop. This is just a tiny partial list of the kinds of state-of-the-art equipment that we decided, self-published authors need the best, and we need to buy the best. And so this is just a very tiny partial list of what you'll see in our factory as we keep adding printing equipment. Our old CD plant kind of gets smaller and smaller and smaller, but that's fine because now, as I say, our business has very much progressed, gone from the music business going down to a publishing business going up. And I do on times call us a publishing business. We truly are not a publisher. We're publishing services, but we really do most everything that the book publisher does. And this is an example. So again, our motto the last 2 or 3 years, especially my last years as being president, I said, we want to have all the essential products and services that an author needs. So we do copy and line editing and proofreading too for people. We do exquisite cover design. We brought our expertise over from our folks on the music side. We've been doing, record covers and CD covers and packaging over. We brought those people over, and now they're really highly skilled book cover designers too. Interior formatting, I always say that's what makes a book a book. It's hard to define it, but it's beautiful text. And, if you want initial caps and you want a table of content that looks gorgeous, we do that too. Of course, Ebook Conversion, which we do by hand. I mean, we run it through a machine first. But there's nothing like a person looking at every page, making sure there's no widows and orphans. And if I'm dating myself in typography, hello, others who are involved in that business, we actually do look at every single ebook that goes out, open it up on different devices, make sure it looks good. All right. We do both hard and soft cover printing. We really have, we don't offer every single size and format, but we offer 99% of what's being sold out there. So all the traditional hardcover formats, all the traditional softcover formats. We have some exciting contracts with people like National Wildlife and Photography Magazine. So our digital printing is just absolutely gorgeous. And the quality of digital printing has come up so much in the last 5 years. It's hard to tell digital from an offset print. What we're trying to do and really push now, when I say push, we're trying to develop and promote and make people understand marketing, book marketing. It's easy just to go out and throw some Amazon ads out there or things like that. But is that really a good use of your money? So we work with authors to do Facebook and Instagram ads that have been very successful if they're done correctly. There's a way to do it. There's a way not to do it. We try to share our ideas. And now we're doing a display ad network. It is like the Google ad network. It is not exactly. But we have kind of a private, again, dating myself, closed circuit, if you will, of the top sites where people are buying books. And authors can buy into this at kind of remnant rates, if you will, and they get very good terms. And we design the ad for them. And so they're displayed on places where we know books are sold. Plus, if you have a need, for instance, if I'm going to do a book about raising ducks, okay, and I know there are 10 websites out there that have advertisement of people about raising ducks, I can tell BookBaby, say, hey, I want my ad to appear on these 10 sites too. Can you mix that in? And we will. So that's been very exciting. We just debuted that before the holidays, and it's gone extremely well. So, but the greatest asset we have, I think, are views like this. So we have real life people answering the phone. It's not chat bots, not just pop-ups on your screen. There are people who, I would say a good 30-40% of them have they've already either written a book, published it, or helped with publishing. Because like the lady down there in maroon, she has a little side business on the weekend. She has like 3 or 4 authors that she's doing sort of the publishing services for it. So she's really deeply invested in it. So these folks have really heard it all and done it all, and you're going to hear that again here in a minute. But people are our greatest asset, and I think that differentiates us. We knew that we wanted to make our pricing and such so that we could afford to have real experts holding people's hands, helping people to really get through this process. We made the unfortunate thought of when we were coming up, now we have the BookBaby logo, yay. Well, why don't we do a tagline saying, self-publishing made easy? And that sounded really good. And that's a marketer's dream. Oh, that's going to be easy to drop in places and ads. And then after 6 months of really slogging in it, self-publishing is not easy. And we make it easier, no question about that. But it's not an easy process, and you need people to help you, and you shouldn't do it by yourself. And I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. But again, the way we achieve this is through folks like this who are throughout the company. The pandemic has allowed us, I look at this in a very positive view, is we used to have a very inclusive crew because they had to work around the Philadelphia area, to commute in to our offices, to our manufacturing plant. Now we have people scattered literally throughout the world who are helping work with us. So we can bring in diversity of different points of view of different places in the country. It's been a blessing for us. And they've all, it's been a little harder to train folks remotely, but at the end of the day, I think it's really benefited us, and it's certainly benefited our office. So that is BookBaby in a nutshell. And yes, we do baby books. We print them. We don't have them in the warehouse, but we make them. All right. Anyway, a little bit about that. We about 65,000 authors at last count. We've done about 100,000, individual ebooks. And now, to say, we're one of the largest book printers in the Mid-Atlantic area, and that happened practically overnight. And there's a lot of paper going in and out of our plant. And it's become a thriving business for us, and we couldn't be happier. So, which leads me back into our main theme of this, because we've worked with so many authors, because we've done so many books, we've seen a thing or two. All right. So from the BookBaby vault, again, I'm going off script. Sorry, marketers. I know you wanted something more like a safety video, but I'm going to say this is the top 10 ways to ruin an indie book publish. And again, those positive thinking folks can then turn it around to say, what I'm really saying is do the opposite. So I'm sure you'll catch on very quickly. All right. So let's start. So again, and I know for some of the folks, the professionals in this group, this is not exactly the same kind of audience that I talk to. I go to book conferences when we used to have conferences and book shows and talk to, a lot of authors. And I know these are a lot of industry folks who will be seeing this video going forward, and maybe are on the call now. So maybe some of you have counsel clients about the same thing. I'm just bringing these out to say, these are the number one things that if everything goes right here, you're going to have a smooth publish. And happily, I'm able to say, with some guidance, with some nurturing, we're able to make that come true. All right. So let's start this. And this is one that it's hard to really convince people. So I wanted to start off tough. Number one, the biggest way to ruin a publish, marketing the book only after it's done. All right. Christopher and I were talking about this, and now in my newly semi-retired state, although retirement sure seems to be busy, I'm doing a couple of books. And I've already started to think about how I'm going to promote them. Who do I need to talk to? What kind of groups? Because they're going to be wildly different topics. All right. But once you have that topic selected, it's time to think about, I know I'm writing, and I'm going to spend a lot of time writing, but I want to think about the end of it. I don't want to be distracted, but I got to think about how am I going to eventually get this book marketed? So what I'm doing on both of my sides is networking. Now, one is about book publishing. I think I know a few things about that already, and I know the people. The other one is about a whole different topic, and I'm meeting people, and I'm already kind of setting the stage for once my book is ready, a couple of years, there are going to be some allies. This is a great place if you haven't learned about social media, and you don't need to know them all. This is a place for you to start to wade in and understand it. You don't need to master it, but there are tons of videos and opportunities for you to learn how authors work with social media. All right. If you have the budget to interview publicists now, I would do that just to get an idea. No, yes, you have to get their attention, but it's a good idea just to talk to them and find out how much it's going to cost. Do you want to do those services? All right. A few years ago, we did a survey about this very topic. We asked them, when should the marketing of a book begin? And 83% of them said it needs to start early and way before the book is finished. So, and these are the people who are making a lot of money based on our list. So go with the folks who really know what they're doing and are successful, and do that. By the way, I will offer another little freebie here. The results of this survey that we did a couple of years ago are available in this guide that we have on bookbaby.com. You go to bookbaby.com, you click on the Learn tab at the top, you click on the free guides, and then you come to this one called Promote Then Publish. And it really kind of outlines what I'm talking about, the steps you should take even while you're in the writing process. Yes, I know writing takes a lot of your time, but you can devote 30 minutes a day to just thinking about where you're going to market your book, making lists of people, of places, of events that you want to go to. It's going to pay off in a big way if you think about it early. So a good way to ruin your publish is not to think about it at all. All right. Here's number 2. And of course, I think I've already alluded to it. Going DIY for the entire publish. Now, look, I believe in DIY for some things. If you can change your car oil, awesome, go for it. I put in 1040 when it should have been 2050. So I'm not the guy. All right. Simple plumbing, I can turn a wrench and make a faucet stop leaking. Cooking, pretty good at that. So I believe in DIY for all those kinds of things. I'm going to draw the line at brain surgery. Don't do it. I haven't tried it, but I'm not going to. I also want to draw the line at some of the intricate things about your book. Now, writing is a DIY, although people are doing ghostwriters all the time, but that can be done. And marketing can be very much a DIY thing. You don't have to get a publicist. You don't have to get a marketing team. But about the process of publishing, there are things that take your manuscript and then transform it into a masterpiece at the end. And the areas that I'm especially focused on is editing, cover, and interior book design, okay? There's that lady who wrote that book a few years ago, It Takes a Village, and she was right. It does take a village, especially in terms of getting your book done. We have gone through lots of marketing slogans. Let me tell you, after we discarded self-publishing made easy, and one of them was this: we're people-powered publishing, and we do believe that publishing is a people's game. It's a people's task, and you've got to talk with experts. And we have people on the phones. You can call us up for free. No, we're not going to read your book. I just want to get that out there right now. But tell us about the problems that you are having. Tell us how you're thinking about editing. Tell me why I should need to get this kind of editing. We're going to be with you the whole way around. When you want to get with BookBaby, we'll help you from the start to the finish. And all the way to including paying you all your money when you become the bestseller without taking a bit of your commission. Our fees are upfront, and as you'll see on bookbaby.com, we don't take a dime out of your royalties. You've earned that money. We don't feel like we have a right to take any of it. So that's kind of our model. All right. Third thing is this, and boy, I think every other email I'm sending out these days is about this. The very best investment you can make for your book is editing. And we've just seen this over and over and over. All right. We're to the point of calling it book insurance, because it's just a way to save your dignity, your sanity, save your family relations, which I'm about to tell you about in a minute. You got to get editing. All right. The former teacher is not a pro editor. It is a challenge to find out, well, okay, where am I in my book process? Do I need developmental editing to kind of help me with the whole direction of the book? Or am I pretty buttoned down? I just need maybe a quick line edit, or maybe even proofreading. And we can help you with that. Ask for advice. And we have lots of examples on our website that kind of help you say, yeah, this is what I need. Now, I'll be really upfront with you. Editing is very intensive. They're not done by machines. They're done by people. And people are necessarily going to cost more money than doing something automated. Editing is not a cheap endeavor. But if you have a certain budget allocated for your book, this is the first place of where you should spend it. No question about it. So let me tell you about, I say it's my favorite story. Poor Dr. Lewis. It's not my favorite story. It's my favorite sob story here. He's the president of a Bible Institute, and he's been published several books with us. But his first one was The Message and the Messenger, when he became president of the seminary. he did not invest in professional editing. And very chagrined, called us up a few hours after he received his initial books and handed them out to all his family. And he started getting texts saying, "You misspelled my name." He had to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mom." And, "Oh my God, do you see the errors on page 4? He just found so many errors and he was so embarrassed. He just said, and he was, thank God he hadn't sent many of these out and just gone to family and friends, who of course probably gave him a pretty hard time about it for a long, long time. But he was really just terrified that, my God, if these books had gone out, what this would have done to his prestige and his reputation. He didn't want to be remembered as the guy who has all the mistakes in the book, and won't buy from another. So heed his words, and he told us, if you don't pay for editing, it's going to cost you in the long run. You can either pay up front and have it editing and have the peace of mind that professionals have done it. And by the way, they're not going to get every single typo, right? Human nature is such that you're going to have a there, and there get through. It's just going to happen. Nobody is infallible. But you're going to catch the giant mistakes. You're going to catch the grammar that is suspect. It's really important to have a pro. My first book, I went out there. I'm a professional journalist. I know how to write a book. I know how to grammar and all this. And I got the results. And I said, I saw all this red markings on my things going back. And I'm saying, no, that's not right. So being in my position, I was able to call the editor up. And it turned out she lived in New Zealand because we have a worldwide network. And it was in the middle of the night. I said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I woke you up." He said, No. Let's go through this. I'll tell you. And after 45 minutes, she taught me that I don't know how to use commas at all. So I accepted all of her corrections. But anyway, everybody needs editing. So we try to think of it, we try to put this in context for people, So here's one of our ads: a comprehensive list of all the New York Times, Amazon best-selling authors that did not get a professional edit. Yep, there's the list. Nobody. Everybody gets an edit. It is truly professional book insurance, and I can't stress this enough. It's a great, it's a great investment, and you're not going to notice it until it's not done. All right, I've gone through now all of our marketing offers about editing. All right, fourth way. Here's how you can ruin a self-published. You don't use a professional designer. Now, I'm not going to say anything. All right. Seeing is believing. Now, and I'm no artist myself. I'm just going to show you. So for the next 30 seconds, there will be silence. Do not adjust the volume on your Zoom. To my knowledge, these are all actual covers from actual books, done DIY. And then there's that one. So, book cover design, it's a specialized artistic profession. Just because my sister-in-law graduated from the Philadelphia School of Design does not qualify her to be a professional book cover designer. She may be able to do ads, she might be able to do websites or packaging, but book cover designers is its own industry. And, when you think how quickly that you're scanning, and you're going to see a slide here pretty soon about your Amazon listings, and you all know what they look like. How important is it that you've got this little tiny pixel, little tiny box on the screen, and people are going through either Amazon, Barnes & Noble listings, whatever, even your own sites, and they're making a quick snap judgment on your book based upon your cover. Don't you want to put the best foot forward? I'm not going to say you can't judge a book by its cover. I'm so tired of hearing that. But frankly, it's true. You've got to put out your best image that captures and the genres and the colors. Red goes with this and blue goes with that and green goes, these people know what they're doing, and they've done a lot of design work in this way. Here's a typical before and after. All right. So we have authors who have published their books with somebody else, or they self-published on their own. And they say, okay, so here's my original cover and back cover. You see the whole thing. It was a paperback book. And they said, I didn't really like it, but I did it myself. Maybe you guys can do a little bit better. Well, yeah, we can do a little bit better. Had all the same elements, had her bio, had her picture, but we made it a lot more interesting with the material she gave. So, this is the kind of work that, again, requires a really dedicated professional book designer to create these kinds of things. Can't stress it enough. All right. Here's number 5. So saying we have, especially with our proofing folks, is, everybody writes, and we most read, but proofreading is just one of those ways that it just hurts a book so much. You've done all the work. You've done you bought your editing, you bought your cover design, you worked for years perhaps on your book. Now you have some page proofs and you're not going through them with a fine-tooth comb. And people say, well, wait a minute, we're in the digital world. All you got to do is go in and change that, change my mother's name to Mary and not Magdalene. They think, well, it's easy. Come on, why is this a process? All right, let me explain the process of the digital world of making a change. Let's say you distributed your book. It was both an ebook and a printed book, and I won't belabor this point. So there are 2 versions of the book. The ebook first, we'll talk about that. We have to take it down from all 70 bookstores that your book is appearing upon. We have to confirm that all these files have been taken down and they're the correct version. Then we make the change in the book, 1 character, 5 characters, whatever it happens to be. We close it in, and then we need to resubmit it to all 70 stores again. All has to be done automatically. The same happens on the print side. We have to go to the print bookstores and say, take out the files you have of book XYZ. Take it out. We get it in our possession. They confirm, yes, I took this book out. We make the change in the printed book. We send those files back out. This is not just a 5-minute fix. This will take 30 to 45 days to make sure that all the far-flung bookstores we're involved with have indeed sent their files back, because we cannot have one file happening in Amazon and a different one in Barnes & Noble. So it is a big, giant deal to proofread your files. Invest in a press proof. Every reputable company will allow this. For us, for $99, you're going to get exactly the kind of book that's going to show up in people's hands or in bookstores or wherever you have it. Hardcover or softcover, any size that we offer. For $99, we will print, cut, bind, ship exactly 1 book anywhere you want. And you should go through it with a fine-tooth comb and make any changes there. For the people who don't, they say, well, wait a minute, it's just a simple change. Why can't that be changed tomorrow? The fact that I know tomorrow is Black Friday. How come you can't do that? This is why. It takes a long time to get it out of distribution, changed, back into distribution. It's not a simple matter. So hopefully that's something we can avoid in the future. Here's the 6th thing that'll kill an indie book publish. You're not getting all the formats. Okay. So here's the way that we have in both our surveys and in research I've done online. This seems to be where America is shaping out. Now I got to tell you, 3rd world countries have really adapted more to the small screens and to ebooks, but this is what the US and Canada seems to have evolved into. 26% of the people, they'll only buy print. 23% of the people will only buy ebooks. And then you've got half the population that will toggle between both formats. Count me in on that. I'm going to read an ebook. It's easy to go to my doctor's office or waiting for my lawyer, and I can look on my iPhone. But if I'm going to the beach, I'm not taking my brand new Kindle to the beach. I'm going to get a paperback that I can get sand in and whatever. So make sure that you're getting every single format that you can. And what we recommend right now for indie authors is just ebooks and print book, because now I didn't mention audio, and I know audio is the darling right now out there, and I love audiobooks. I listen to a lot of them. But you got to consider right now it's still only 4% of the book market. The headlines might say it grew 200%, but that's great. It grew from 3 to whatever percent. It's still pretty tiny. All right. 95% of indie authors now will never see the return on investment based upon current pricing. All right. Now, there's the big caveat, because right now, what you've got to do to get a quality ebook that's accepted on the Audible and these other places is you've got to have a human narrator. The time is coming where AI is going to take over this marketplace. I don't like machines taking over jobs that humans are doing. I get that. But if you can now go to the market, so the typical cost to get a good quality audiobook, again, average, but $3,500 to $5,000. So that's before you even sell audiobook one, and they're priced pretty high. What if that number goes down to $800 or $1,000? Then suddenly you can start to have a chance to have some real return on investment. And that is coming. Watch BookBaby by the end of this year, because I think we're going to have an offer that can do that. We have tested other AI programs. We've had people listen to the voices being generated, and they can't tell the difference now between a human. We're talking to one company that runs it through a machine and then has humans listen to it and tweak it, add pauses, do things. And so that technology is coming. But look, if you have great and print book sales already and you've got the bank, go for it. But don't do audio from the beginning until we can make it more reasonably, inexpensive or budget friendly for the indie author. All right. Number 7. I know we're I've gone about 40 minutes so far, so I'm going to speed this up a bit. Metadata. I think people on this call probably understand what that is. That's data about data. And this is key information that goes into all the websites that are going to be distributing your book. What makes me angry is that folks are spending, hours and hours and years even on their books. But then when it's time to do their metadata, they're just like slapping it out there and putting it out there. All right. We offer a metadata service and editing. We don't write it for you, but we'll go in there and make sure the grammar is good, the keywords and things like that. And that's a service we do offer. It's pound for pound. It's the best thing you can possibly buy from us. But again, you've got to make sure that everything, really helps sell your book, and keywords, especially on Amazon. That's just so critically important. All right. Number 8. Here's a way to really damage yourself if you have global publishing dreams. Distributing through Amazon only. Now, don't get me wrong. We love Amazon. We are good friends with them. We're one of their largest, single contributors to their book empire, if you will, because based upon the number of authors we represent. But they're not the only, force out there, both on the print and on the ebook side. All right. So here's the numbers I could find. And this is from authorearnings.com. They're a little dated right now, but I still think they're relatively accurate. All right. So in Amazon, they're dominant in the US and in the UK. But other markets, not so much. You see Kobo has big big territory in Canada. You see that Apple has areas. And here's sort of broken down. So Amazon, 57% in Canada, with Kobo at 30% now. That's more up-to-date figure. Amazon only ranks, with 59% of the market in Amazon. Yeah, that's still the dominant one. But, there's 41% of books in Australia being sold by other folks. All right. And in other countries, third world, and especially Europe, they're really nowhere. They're just another one of the booksellers out there. So by just going to Amazon, you're limiting yourself. So our saying is go beyond the jungle, go beyond the Amazon jungle, try to get yourself out a much wider distribution so that you can capture, everywhere you can. Now, what's important to us is, again, we draw back from our music roots too. And independent musicians really got on traction when they were able to go direct to their listeners. So for us, it's direct to their fans. For us, it's direct to the readers. So we offer, a bookshop page to everybody in distribution. It's completely free. You get higher royalties when you sell through this because you're going direct from the printer. But we're seeing now our most prolific authors are really emphasizing this and going, having their own websites or in their Twitter ads or in their Facebook and Instagram ads, and they link back not to Amazon, that's going to take X amount of their dollars or Barnes and Noble. They do to their BookBaby page. And just like we do with our press proofs, when the order comes in for 6 degrees of Betty Grable, we print one, we cut one, we bind one, we ship one directly to the reader, and you get paid very quickly from it. So we're trying to promote this as sort of the next wave of how indie authors can profit most, and that's going direct to their readers. Establishing relationships. When somebody buys from BookBaby, as a matter of fact, they get the opportunity to communicate with the people who bought their book. If the reader has opted into a list. I mean, Amazon's not going to allow that ever. They want to control the customers and everything. So we think this is an important way for folks to get closer to their readers. And our bookshop pages have just been blowing up this last holiday season. It was really nice to see. All right, number 9, quickly. People think, oh, just because I'm out there on Amazon, that is what marketing is all about. No. You've got to be thinking about this. And back to number 1, you really need to think about it way before the book launch. All right. Yes, placement is good. Distribution is great. But now you need to think about what you're doing in your pre-sale period. I could spend a whole hour talking about the intricacies of the book selling pre-sale period. I know probably most of the folks on this call understand it. If not, go to the BookBaby blog and just type in the search bar pre-sale. And you're going to see enough words from me that'll turn your eyes red. But it's that key 60 to 75 day period prior to your book being available. They list it on the page. And the key is you get traffic to that sales page. You don't have to buy it. Just get traffic to that page. Amazon is going to respond to your launch in a way different way than someone just ignores it. We've seen this happen thousands of times. And people heeded our advice this year. And almost none of them were out of stock during the critical time. So they listened to our advice. No, I wouldn't advocate renting a billboard at I-95 to buy my book. But marketing is really important. All right. And author marketers are succeeding. And they understand, that it requires constantly being on the, looking out for what's working. All right. Talking to other authors, looking at forums, talking to the IBPA. How are people selling books? Understanding how to use media and getting reviews. You got to get lots of reviews. That's really an important thing, right? Finally, this is what I think I'm most frustrated about right now, because I just got some emails a couple of days ago about it, and I wrote them back instantly with this kind of response. They gave up too soon, right? Dear Steve, I launched my book 18 months ago. It really didn't go anyplace. I'm really discouraged. Should I write another book? And my response back is saying, only 18 months? Saying, look, if you had bought a boat, all right, and you launched it and you broke the champagne on the bow, after 18 months, maybe it hasn't gone to every place you wanted it to go. Are you ready to sink it and pull the plug? Now, don't give up on things. Try something new. Try something different. Have a plan to hit different channels. Maybe if you think your target audience is, I don't know, young adults age 35 to 50, maybe it's not. Maybe it's retired people. Try some ads. Look for some opportunities to get your book. It's a new book to almost everyone in the world. It doesn't matter if it was published 3 years ago or 3 days ago, all right? It's still going to be new to people who are right now are browsing through Amazon or Barnes & Noble, all right? Now, I do urge authors to find ways to harness social media, to get their message out. That doesn't mean say buy me on a Twitter post every 15 seconds using TweetDeck. It means getting involved with conversations, learning what readers want. All right. As I say, this display ad program that we've just launched, it's working very well so far. It's hard to measure actual sales to it, but they can see the traffic going to their bookshop page. They can see the traffic going to their Amazon page based upon the data that we share with them. So it's very healthy. So don't give up. All right. Keep pushing, find other ways, talk with other authors, get some inspiration, but really don't give up early, is what I'm saying. All right. One last thing I'd like to talk to you folks about, because this is something near and dear to my heart that we launched a few years ago. And I think it's been a great way for us to get to know more people in the industry and get people to understand us. We have something called the Publishing Partner Program. And what this is, again, we borrowed this from the music side of our business. This is targeted to people who are in the industry. It could be editors, it could be publicists, it could be book coaches or Sherpas, or it could be authors. It could be conferences. It could be anybody. We don't really care. We don't have any qualifications, all right? You sign up to become a publishing partner, okay? And what you do is you refer authors to use BookBaby to publish their books. That simple. We give you your own page on the BookBaby site with a link that if they click that link, that the author is forever bonded to you when they do that project, all right? You can track their referrals project status through the publishing partner account. And once they're through the process, we pay you, and we only do it for the first book because we really want to reward you for brand new authors who we can get into our fold. You get a 10% commission. Once your referrals project is completed. We do that on only projects that exceed $100. We don't want you just getting the 10% on that publishing proof. That's not fair to you. We're going to wait until they have spent, people spend $2,500, $5,000 easily in BookBaby in some of their programs. That's not the average amount, but it can be. So that could be a nice payday for someone who's doing, design work or editing. So it's very simple. You go to bookbaby.com, you look for the publishing partner program link, you sign up, and then you send offers to us, and we do all the rest. And you can, like I say, you can see how the process works on the pages there.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Steven. That's excellent information. I'm also an author publisher, and I can attest to how overwhelming it can be. So I appreciate you for kind of laying it out that way. And something that I want to share also is, don't forget, I want to talk about the details of the IBPA member benefit. So you can see my screen now, right? This is the member benefit. So for editing, BookBaby will give our members 20% off. And as Steven mentioned, it's an incredibly important part of the process. Ebook conversion is 10% off. Printed book services, that's this one here. It's the $100 on 100 plus printed books. And you all actually recently added translation services. Yeah, and so you're going to give our members 10% off of those translation services. So keep these in mind. These are really important. And I've put in the chat this as an explanation of the benefits. Okay, let's get to questions. People had some really great ones. So let's start with Mary. Does BookBaby ever print using other printers such as the Ingram or Amazon printers?
So we used to. That's how we got started in the business. And we were with a company called Edwards Brothers, and they had digital-only printing, and they did some offset. But we learned the business, just like we did with our music business. We were watching other record companies do it. We decided we can do it ourselves. So that's when we decided to, I wouldn't say we're control freaks, control fanatics. Maybe that's a kind of gentler word. So yes, we do all of our own digital printing work. It's all done in this one factory in Pennsauken, New Jersey. Now, I will say this as a caveat: if there's an offset job, if somebody comes to us and said, "Well, I need to do 50,000 textbooks," that's not a digital job, right? The digital technology is good for 10,000, maybe 15,000, depending upon the kind of book it is. Other than that, those quantities we will be working with offset printers around the country. Obviously, we take great care of it. We're the ones getting proofs off the press and making sure everything looks good there. But otherwise, 95% of our work is digital, and it all comes through our presses. So same paper, same machines, same people.
Awesome, thank you. So Marcia has another book coming out, and they need editing, cover, formatting, printing, and marketing. So they wanted to ask about BookBaby services for these. They want to know, is one person coordinating all these services? How does that process work when they want to do multiple services with BookBaby? Right.
And as we were building the company, we thought about, should we develop teams of just editing experts, just this person to do this part of the project? Where we ultimately came up with, and what you see now, is you have one person you talk with. Now, they're not doing the cover design. Don't worry. I would not trust some of our publishing associates to do design work. Don't worry. They're not doing that kind of thing. But in terms of your liaison, you'll call up, you'll talk to Christina, you'll talk to Georgiana, you'll talk to that one person as your book is being, edited, designed, built. Once you've signed off on it and said, great, you will be handed off to another team that only worries about your distribution. Because you'll have my question saying, hey, how come Amazon Australia doesn't have me listed? And we'll talk to Amazon. So how come it's not listed? That'll be a different team of people. So really, you'll have basically two contacts. One before your book is actually finished, done. You've seen proofs, you've signed off on it, we've shipped books, whatever. And then another group that'll help you after the fact, which is all your distribution questions. Oh, I need to do a revision. What do I do? Hey, when am I going to get paid from Amazon? By the way, we collect money from all the bookstores. It comes into us, And again, borrowing from our music side, our payment machine, and we bring in millions of dollars every single week. We divide it up between our 65,000 authors, and we give you payments, within 7 days of us getting paid by Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Gardeners, the whole bit. So really, to answer your question, you're going to have two contexts: one pre-publication, one post-publication.
Awesome, thank you. And Marsha was also wondering about examples of books and covers and such that y'all have done. I'm assuming on your website you have maybe like a page or something.
Heaps, tons of them, yes, and some of them are really fun projects. And it's been every month we actually get a kind of a new gallery on stuff that's being worked on. I'm overwhelmed. If you walk into a bookstore, I would say that a good number of these covers now are being independently produced. They're not through a big giant publisher anymore. And I would put our covers alongside of anything coming out of Simon & Schuster and all the rest of them. So.
And someone's asking, Mary's asking, how does BookBaby distribution compare to Ingram Spark?
So Ingram Spark, we're good friends with them, by the way. Ingram Spark is part of our distribution network. So when you come to BookBaby, you'll get Ingram Spark as part of it, but you also get Amazon. You'll also get, if we're talking print book here, you'll get Books A Million. You'll get a lot of the specialty book publishers. If it's a Christian book or a religious book, we have distributors on that side. So they're actually a part of it. Our distribution network is larger, frankly, because it's much more inclusive. But Ingram is definitely part of it. And yeah, we sell a lot of books through the Ingram network. We're good partners.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask about, so you mentioned that it's like kind of upfront fees for BookBaby. So someone will post their book through BookBaby, but then when they start selling books, BookBaby does not take a portion of those royalties. So maybe you can explain that more.
That's correct. So let me expand that to 2 points. Number one, we're not a publisher. A publisher kind of takes title to the book, if you will, makes a lot of decisions, controls it. We're a self-publishing services company. We have a 60-page term of service written by our lawyers, but I can take it down to 10 words. You ready? You own everything. We own nothing. Have a nice day. All right. Simply that. It's your book. You control it. You can do whatever you want with it. So if you need to yank it out of our distribution for some reason, if my hair is distracting you and you need to take the book out of BookBaby, you're free to do that. All right. So that's number one. But number two is exactly that. Our fee structure is that, we make a little money on printing. We make a little money on the editing and things like that. But once your book is in production, you're with us forever. And we're never going to ask another fee for you being in our distribution network. As new stores are added, we ask you, would you now like to be in the largest store in Peru? Oh, sure you would. Boom, we're going to send a feed over there. As money comes in, it comes into our system. We wanted to say the word, you get paid weekly, which is true, but Amazon doesn't pay weekly. But if Amazon checks comes in on a Thursday, by that following Monday, the money is in your account. And no, we don't take a cut. We don't take a commission. That's not our model. You've done the work of marketing and selling the book. We haven't done a thing. It's not fair for us to do that. And frankly, it's so automated now, thank God, that really we don't have any people touching it. There really is not much expense in there, except for answering the phone saying, hey, how come my Aunt Mabel's money that she bought the book a year ago isn't showing up? And our response is, maybe you better find out if Aunt Mabel really bought the book.
Yeah, right. And it's to further push that point. When you go through BookBaby, you are an author publisher. People have this thing, they're like, oh, I wrote the book, but you are publishing the book. And also as an IBPA member, you're an author publisher. That's how we think of you. That's how you should think of yourself. You're marketing it. You're doing all this work. BookBaby's an incredible assist with all this process, but you are the publisher. And for example, like you should buy your own ISBNs because you want to be listed as the publisher through Bowker. So Joan was asking, how does one invest in a press proof? Is this uploading and getting a proof copy prior to publishing? I guess there.
Yes. So, I mean, I'm assuming you've uploaded your book into our system. You've worked out whatever you're doing with the cover. By the way, if you have your own cover designer, professional, use them. Great. If you have your own editor, use them. You don't have to use any of our services. We just strongly recommend you get professionals. We offer them. If you want to use your own, please do that. We want you to feel comfortable about how your book is done. So we're not going to exclude you. But okay, so your book is loaded in. We have behind the scenes, we've done about 140 checks on your book to make sure that it's going to come off our digital press perfectly. All you got to do is say, give me a proof. And in about 48 hours, that's what our turn time is right now, 48 hours, you're going to have a book coming to you that's exactly what all of your readers will get. Same paper, same printing, and literally it'll be printed on the same machine as what's going to be allocated to you as your print runs happen. If you sell 5 books tomorrow, those 5 are coming off the same machine. And Jim is probably going to be the one who's in charge of that machine today. I mean, we're down to that level where we don't even want to vary the machines. We want to make sure that paper, that machine, it's going to happen for you, and keeping everything consistent. Nothing, I think authors need assurances and confidence and consistency, and we're trying to deliver that. Most of it behind the scenes, we are truly that duck where you've got the legs flapping in the water and we're kind of calm above the surface. We handle that for you. Don't worry about it. You just mark it and write, and then write and then mark. That's what you need to do. Great. Yeah. And Mary's wondering, do you, on your website somewhere, do you have a printing shipping royalty calculator that they can put things in? Yes, we absolutely do. Now, once you choose, again, I don't know the exact, but I would first call one of our publishing specialists who can kind of point you in that area. But you can put in pricing to see what your royalty would be, what you need to charge. There are some format sizes that are better than others. For instance, children's book, there's I think it's 8.5 by 8.5 square. I'm probably going to get called on this by our production people. That's really kind of a sweet spot for children's books. And the pricing is good, the way the production goes, and we're trying to lower the costs and things like that. But yes, there's a chance for you to review all of that. Now, Amazon, by the way, this is something that's not really well known. Say your price is $15. Amazon might decide to discount it down to $12. You're still going to make 100% of the royalty that you were promised by BookBaby and by Amazon, by the way. But Amazon might see an opportunity to get more people to this section of their site. So anytime you see your book discounted anywhere, and it could be Amazon, and it could be Barnes & Noble, don't worry, you're still getting your full royalty. It's just that they decided to take a haircut and a shave and decided to discount your book. View that as a win, because you're going to get the full royalty. Great. And someone was asking about your proofreading services. So we just wanted to double check. Does that fit into, you have IBPA members get editing 10, right, 20% off. The proofreading, is that part of that editing package? It is not. It's really kind of a low cost service. We really advise that for people who have either gotten copy editing already or line editing. And this is like a final check. You can, I will just tell the listeners on this call and on this webcast, you can ask for a discount on that as well when you do that proofreading. But we're trying to push people into a more comprehensive thing that we don't publish those sorts of discounts. But yeah, we'll give you a discount there too. Just don't tell anybody. Get the other editing first and then do the proofreading if you need it. Or if you've had an outside editor, already do that. Again, use the people that you like and enjoy. If you're comfortable working with a team, awesome. We'll be part of your team. So BookBaby does translation services, but Claudia's wondering, do you publish in Spanish? Yes, we do. Absolutely. We 25% of our business going back is from outside the US. We publish in, I'm going to say 98 different languages, including right to left Hebrew and Arabic and other types of difficult. Again, a lot of it comes back to images. In ebooks are especially easy to handle in those sorts of formats. But yes, no, we've done books in every language you can possibly handle. Okay, great. And Joan's wondering how they can invest in your new display ad program. Go to our website, and it's under the sell your book tab, and you'll see it. And by the way, you don't have to be a BookBaby author. I call them BookBaby authors. We're not a publisher. You don't have to be affiliated with BookBaby at all in any way, shape, or form to use this service. All right, it's helpful. because you've already signed up for an account. You'll have to jump a couple hurdles to just sign up and make sure you have an account. But you can use the service even if you didn't publish your book with us or hell, Simon and Schuster. I mean, go for it. But that's where I would go into the sell my book tab. I think it's near the bottom of that.
Is that the same for all your marketing services? Do you have to be published through? No, you do not have. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Not have to be. No, it's easy because a lot of things are bundled in. We do have packages where we discount things, but people can buy everything a la carte. If you just need a new book cover, we're happy to do that too. Okay,
very interesting. Thanks for explaining that a little further. And you talked a bit about distribution. Is there somewhere on your website, because there are people wondering about the process of distribution from BookBaby to these retailers. Is there somewhere on your website where you maybe list like the distributors that you send to?
Yes, and as I say, that's where we really hung our hat on from day one. We really felt that distribution, again, our musical roots played in there. We've had distribution is really important, and it is listed on pages both for ebooks and for printed books. But know this: even though you could be in over 100 different outlets, if you have a question about them, all you got to do is call us. We're your mediators. We're your advocates. We're your accountants. I'm not going to say we're your lawyers yet because we don't have a degree in that. But any problems you have, you never need to call Amazon or Barnes & Noble. If you notice something is awry, and let's face it, things do happen. We had a situation where Amazon took down a bunch of our ebooks for a couple of days. What's going on? And we actually got Jeff Bezos' attention because we're that big. And they came right back on. Everything was restored. Everything was fine. But we're the ones for you to call, and you can have all this massive distribution, including going through Ingram. We talk with Ingram 100 times a day, if not more. So, and we're good allies and pals. There are a lot of really good players in the self-publishing industry. Groups like IBPA help foster this. You don't see the bad apples in IBPA. There are some bad apples. I will not mention them by name. You can email me afterwards if you really want to know. Mm-hmm. But I mean, this is the kind of a group of being involved. We recognize the need for being involved with groups like IBPA, and really there's a few of them that have this kind of charter to help the indies out there. But yeah, we're your advocates.
Yeah, and some people were asking about how they contact you all. I mean, on your website, there's a number listed. So just go to BookBaby's website, and at the top, I'm looking at right now, there's a phone number, and then there's also a contact us where you can email them. So, you all, in terms of customer service, it seems like there's ways to reach you. I know people find that frustrating when it's a website and you're like, I just need to talk to someone because I have questions.
Phone number should be on every single page. And frankly, and again, this is kind of against, this century's sort of modus operandi. We actually prefer phone calls because these kind of transactions, it needs a conversation. Can people do it all themselves from the website? Sure, they can. And we make it possible for them to do that. We don't advise them. Call us up. It doesn't cost you a thing. And you're getting all this tons of free advice. And we're open from 8 to 8 now, Eastern time. We have people on the West Coast. And soon we're going to be operating with some European folks as well and opening that up. We don't think this European distribution is in the next 2 or 3 years, but you never know.
Yeah. So that's great. Yeah, I know IBPA is the same where I think something people love about us is that, we answer the phone, and we want to talk to our members. So I get frustrated too, where I'm like, oh, God, there you go to the website and you're like, I just need an answer. Like, I just need to talk to someone. So that's great.
And the easiest thing in the world is, and by the way, when you do link up with one of our publishing specialists, they usually have their own extension and their own phone number. You can call direct to them and get your answers.
So someone, Sandra, they say that you all have they're wondering about your editors. Maybe they're an editor themselves. They're wondering, are your editors in-house or do you use independent contractors? Because they want to see if they could apply to become an editor for BookBaby.
We are not accepting applications at this point. They are independent contractors, but they're thoroughly vetted. English needs to be their primary language if we're doing an English book. We have opened it up to Spanish language editing. Spanish has to be their primary editing as well. It's something that we're very concerned with in terms of quality. We're trying to manage this, and we are managing this, I think, very well, so that we really have it vetted. If you'd like to send an application, I'll be happy to see it, Steven@bookbaby.com. and send it on. But I mean, this is something where we have editors of all genres. I mean, you don't want a crime mystery editor to be working on your children's book, right? You need to have, so we have so many editors available to us that we're able to say, okay, that one should go here, that one should go there. And to maintain the quality control. And we look at more than a few books coming back just to make sure, yes, they're getting a quality editing job.
Yeah. And one final question. Do you all publish majority fiction, or not publish, but people that publish or post their books through BookBaby, is it mostly fiction or nonfiction? How does that work?
It's everything. I mean, we would love to have this chart in front of us when we market, say, okay, what kind of books should we target? It's flat. It's religious books, it's self-help, it's memoirs, it's historical novels, it's romance. We really publish just about everything you can think of. I got to say, it is kind of fun to walk through the factory and see the photography books going through there and the high quality images. So I got to say, that's one of my favorites. But my gosh, we do, you name it, we print it. Awesome.
Yeah. And one last question. Someone's wondering if you have editors from India.
From India, I'm probably thinking that some of them actually live there. But that's I really can't say that country of origin has really ever been an issue in terms of exactly how we choose our editors. We want to make sure that they're very experienced and obviously very fluent in English. So I would say 90% of our editors are probably in English-speaking territories.
Yeah, Steven, this has been very helpful. Again, I'm an author publisher, so it was interesting for me to watch this as well. And also triggering, because I think I had a nervous breakdown when I did my first book, because I did not have this help. I was like, what do I do? It was very overwhelming. So thank you. And we are grateful not just that BookBaby exists, but also that you give IBPA members this member benefit. So thank you so much.
By the way, our crew will be at the Orlando conference and available on the virtual one too. Got the new president of BookBaby will be there, Jim Foley. Say hello to him, and he'll say the same things I do.
Yeah, and it's so helpful. Thank you for being at the conference, because I know you all have a lot of questions, but it's great to then have people personally connect with the representatives there and ask other questions and maybe give resources. So we're grateful that you'll have people there.
Good.
So I'm going to stop record, but that doesn't mean everyone's going to disappear. Just stop record. So thanks everyone for watching. We really appreciate it. Make sure to take advantage of the BookBaby IBPA member benefit.